Alright everyone, here's my DoAll 2013V. It's a 1986 model. I wanted to make just a quick little rundown video and show some close-ups of its inner workings, just because a lot of the videos on YouTube here I've seen are kind of quick little advertisement demo videos that tool dealers put out, and they don't really have a lot of information about how the saw works if you have to do some maintenance on them the way I did. So I bought this saw a few hours away in Ohio, and I didn't see it run when I bought it, but it was in really good shape, so I purchased it. The guy had a forklift to load it at their machine shop, so it made things infinitely easier than trying to drag one of these things out of a basement, which I saw one of those whenever I was trying to buy this one. But I bought it about 2 months ago. It had a 3-phase motor on it, converted that to single phase. Then I noticed that the gearbox, the input shaft seal, had a real bad leak. So rather than just changing the seal, I ended up ripping apart the gearbox and going over all of that, which was good because I wanted to check the clutch dogs for wear and just do a good thorough inspection of it before I start to actually use this thing a good bit. But so since it was 3-phase, it used to have a big transformer box that its only job was to run that tiny little work clamp. So I got rid of all that stuff. I still have to get plugs in here, but I changed it to run on, this is the old breaker box I think came with the saw originally to start everything. Then it had all this crazy plumbing and different fuses and the transformer on the other side, because I don't know if it ran on 480 volts. I don't remember what voltage this thing ran on. I think it was like 480, and then this stepped down, but I might not know what I'm talking about in that instance. But see, I just have this coming out of the breaker box through here to that giant switch, and it's funny because it's just attached to a 30 amp breaker back there. But so it's a 20-inch saw. From here to there to the throat's 20-inch, then the 20-inch band wheels in there. So I still need to get the light working. I want to clean all this crap off and get the light working. So here's the gearbox, or here's the motor I changed out to. I just went on Electric Motor Warehouse in Michigan, and I was really impressed. I ordered it and it was here in Pennsylvania the next day. So yeah, I ordered it in the morning and then it was here the next day. Couldn't believe it, but it was a pretty good deal. 1.5 horsepower motor, the exact size I needed. The 145T base, I believe that was, and a 7/8 shaft. But one thing I would have thought in hindsight is the placement of the wiring. It really hugs the wall of the saw here. It has room to move up and down, but I didn't think about that when I ordered it. But all in all, I don't know if it would have been better if it was on the left side here, because then the conduit would have to probably get snagged by the belt. But anyways, so it rides on that belt. That's a 1.5 horsepower, 1725 RPM motor. It comes with this Reeves drive. That's, their infinite variable transmission. And it runs off that dial. And what that does is it'll raise it and lower it. And then it goes into the gearbox, which is a 2-speed. So you move that shifter there, this one, and it pushes on that dowel pin, that push rod, whatever you want to call it. And when it's pushed in, it engages the clutch dog to the output shaft, and it just runs direct drive, pull it out. And that clutch dog, it has teeth on both ends, and it engages the back gear and then runs down and catches the gears on the bottom, then comes back up to the output shaft. So then this linkage here that moves up and down and adjusts the Reeves drive, it was really stiff. I saw a couple of videos online where guys are like really trying to, you know, muscle that wheel, and that means that all this stuff is really gunked up. So it rides on this pin here that's attached to the wheel. And then there's just what they call roll pins on this U-joint. If you can see it very well, probably not. There's a U-joint there. And then this threaded rod goes in here and pushes this up and down. That threaded rod had some messed up, the threads are messed up in a couple sections. It was weird because I was going to just make a new one, but it was a really strange size, and I didn't want to mess with it, so I just cleaned it up with a file, and it works good. I have to adjust the speed indicator. It's the speed indicator, so it's, I guess, calibrated when you move this up and down. It's attached to the linkage, and it'll tell you how fast you're going. So this side over here is for high gear, this side's for low gear. I found, you know, they say start it slow and then work up the speed, especially, you know, so you don't shock that gearbox. That's an interesting thing I want to mention is that this is the old style saw. The new ones come with 3-phase motor, obviously, but they come with a 3-phase motor with a variable frequency drive, so that you don't have to have, I think, what don't they have? I don't know if they come with a gearbox or they don't come with a Reeves drive, but you know, you get your, I guess they would have a gearbox for high and low, but they don't come with the Reeves drive. They have the variable frequency drive that just changes the speed of the motor rather than mechanically doing it. This data plate tells me right here, these 2 digits here, it's an 86. I think that was the 157th saw they made that year. Yeah, so see, it says 460 volts. Mine obviously isn't running on that anymore. Mine's 220 single phase. Then you got this, the famous DoAll information chart to tell you, you know, you select your material and then your speed. And then the band wheels, I still need to replace the tires. Need to get on that. I heard they're kind of a pain to get on. I'll show you one more thing about these saws is I noticed I adjusted that linkage for high and low. But when I bought the saw, I noticed that there was a little wooden wedge there, and it made me nervous, like there was something wrong. But the clutch dog, I feel like, with just the oil in there and everything, it wants to kind of like back off, slide back and forth a little bit, and that's not good if it comes off those teeth and tries to slip a little bit. So what I did is I engaged it in low. I just put a little wedge there to keep it engaged fully. It's not like tight. I mean, the push rod can still move, so it's not like I'm forcing those teeth in there. That wouldn't be good, but it's enough just to keep it in place. Because I've noticed that that's kind of the demise of a lot of these saws, is that you never ever shift it from high to low or vice versa when it's running. That will really mess up those teeth. So food for thought. So anyways, I'm going to show you guys how it works.